What's up, guys?
Third time's the charm.
Coming to you with another superhero chat here with my friend Lewis. And I'm sure you know that DC just dropped the news about the 10 fastest DC characters. So we had to respond because, of course, we disagree.
They've lost their mind at DC. I love the way the guy writes Flash, but wow.
He doesn't know anything. I'm kidding. He does a great job with Flash. I really enjoy that.
The main character, the top, 3 or 4 he was good with, but
as soon as we talked about it, we listed like 5 characters that were like, what about these characters? And we're going to talk about them today. So, first I'll have Lewis run through the list that they gave, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll give our list of the top 15 fastest characters.
Coming in at number 10 was Wally number 2. He's fast, but we could think of faster.
I feel like that he has a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, no, he has tons of potential, and I don't know if DC's going to capitalize on that or not. We'll see. He's a young character, so certainly he has time to get faster and become a more interesting character.
They're kind of moving him out from underneath the other Flashes, which is good.
Yeah.
But I feel like he needs his own name now.
Yes.
Need to move away from Kid Flash. We've already had 2 Flashes.
A possible name could be Impulse, but we won't talk about that too much.
We've already got an Impulse. We don't need another one.
No. We don't currently have an Impulse, do we?
Yeah.
No. That was Bart's name before he became Kid Flash, so.
Oh, before he became Kid Flash?
Yeah. So short of him coming back or something and becoming Kid Flash or Impulse again, I don't know why they couldn't use that name.
Yeah.
But maybe there'll be a reason. I don't know.
He's trying to be subtle, but
like a sledgehammer.
Yeah. You only read issue 50.
Shh. We're not spoiling anything for
whatever.
Somebody.
You can come see a video that I'm gonna make.
Yes, watch that
later
video.
This week, and I'll talk about that. Anyways, all right, go from there.
Number 10 is Captain Marvel. No surprises there. And when I say Captain Marvel, I mean Billy Batson, the disciple of Shazam, because Shazam is the wizard, Captain Marvel is the character. Really stupid the way that worked out for DC. They really should have trademarked that name. Can't hate on Marvel too much for snagging it while it's just laying there, but
I was surprised that he's so low on their list.
Right. Well, when you've got the power of a god backing you, it kind of fits or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not too mad about that. I think he's super fast. I want to say it was early 100s of Wally's title as the Flash, where he and Wally team up to fight.
No, I'm saying I was surprised how low he was compared to who they put above him.
Right. No. Well, he's a little further down our list as well, but we have good reasons for that. So
that's right.
Next up is the character Godspeed, who is a newer character. I'm not too familiar with the character other than the Flash issues you've lent me.
Yeah. So I know that the guy put it on there because he created the character.
Yeah.
Hey,
I can't hate on that.
I don't know much of the. Yeah, we do the same thing. I know that I haven't read a whole lot from him because I started in the Flash after Godspeed because I just didn't enjoy the early issues. I feel like he really didn't hit his stride until he was in the 20s. But apparently Godspeed had some of his power sucked away.
Okay, yeah.
And so he's not as fast as he
once
could be or once was.
Yeah.
And so, what's his name? Williamson hinted at that he might be able to get faster later. If he gets his speed back, more of his speed back. Yeah.
Is that the right? Okay, yeah. So that's a cool looking character. I'm interested in that.
Barry broke him out.
Yeah.
For the garage thing. Anyways, So
that's right. Yeah. So I'm interested. I feel like I want to go back and read about him.
I feel like he's a fine pick for
top 10
their list. And then
moving on, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we didn't understand that.
She might be one of the top 3 in the Justice League, not counting if you only have one Flash in the Justice League.
Right.
But if there's more than one Flash in the Justice League, she's
top
Flash. 5 then, right?
You'd have Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Right. Unless Barry and Wally are in the Justice League
together, which I don't think has ever happened.
No, I can't say that.
So you don't have to worry about that. Unless there's a kid Flash running around with them.
This is true.
That might happen.
But love Wonder Woman. Think she is really fast. But there are faster, and as a result,
much faster.
The guy should have known that. And let's not call canon just because some guy who writes for DC says it.
Yeah.
That's not how canon works. Now, if he puts it in the comic book and they sell it, then it becomes a part of canon. At which point,
well, they put it.
I guess I'm gonna have to write for DC
Nation.
No. That's not canon. I'm sorry. That's still not canon. That's not how canon works.
Fair enough.
Canon is literally defined the rule.
What's in comics?
The rule for how things work or whatever, right? The measure by which everything else is measured.
Now the biggest surprise was the person next, and that was
Cheetah. What? Why?
What in the world?
Okay, first of all, I can't even remember a single comic I've read with her in it that she could possibly move faster than 100 miles an hour. And in the world of Flashes, that's slow. I mean, Wally's lowest speed, I think, was like 700 miles an hour. And he felt like he was going slow. So if Cheetah, even if you grant her like a couple 100 miles an hour, like say 300 miles an hour, which I think is being very generous, that's still really slow compared to people who can run at near or at light speed. So no, she doesn't need to be faster than
or even
God's
the speed of sound.
Right. Sonic the Hedgehog can run faster than Cheetah.
She can't even beat, some jets.
Right.
How can she beat the speedsters of the DC universe?
Well, when Wally took over the role of Flash back in the late 80s, he was running like a courier service for Human Hearts because it was easier to get him to run it, even though he would have to take breaks along the way, than to go through all the paperwork to get it shipped through a company or whatever. So like in the first issue, he's delivering a human heart to the other side of the country. Just to give you a heads up.
It's kind of like in, that was a Young Justice episode, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I think there was. It was a lot of snow and stuff. I forget who the villain was now, though. In the comic, it was Vandal Savage.
I think it was Vandal.
Oh, nice. I don't know that I even clicked on that, but yeah.
That was a good episode.
That was a great show. I can't wait till they bring it
back.
All right. Anyway, so Cheetah, that's like the dumbest
pick.
Like, she needs to be so far removed from this list that it's hard to even think of her. I understand that in terms of land speed animal things or whatever, cheetahs are the fastest. So you would think, but that's never been her character. And don't tell me because she's determined. I could be determined to outrun a bus that's chasing me down or something, but that ain't happening. Sorry. Next on the list was the Black Racer, the new god, personification of death. I get the rationale there. I think he said you can't outrun death. Makes sense. But the folks on this list above him have outrun death, so...
Well, except for one.
No, all of them.
Superman has outrun death?
He died and came back.
Hopes. He would lose in a race against the
he absolutely would.
But
I'm sure that the rationale of the writer, was it Josh Williamson we said?
Something like that. I'm
sure that it's DC's list, and Superman apparently can't be anywhere but at the top of every list that people come up with. And I love Superman, but
he needs.
He doesn't need to crack the top 10 of a list with Flash characters. Okay, that's just absurd to me. Like, I know it's fun to think, oh, Superman versus Flash in a race. I'm sorry if you guys have ever watched even just the one episode of Smallville where Bart Allen shows up with all his aliases and everything. At the end of that episode, he depicts exactly how a Superman and Flash race should run. He turns around, runs backwards, and just he's gone. That's how every Flash race should go. I'm sorry, it just is.
That's like Jeff Johns, right?
Huh?
That was Jeff Johns, right?
No, this is a TV show, Smallville, the TV show.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know who it was, but
there was a Jeff Johns issue because I was watching the Variant Comics.
Yeah.
Thing, and he talked about that. Jeff Johns issue where they were racing, and then suddenly, like, I think it was Barry, just jumps into light speed and leaves Superman in the dust.
And that actually makes so much sense. Like, I remember one 70s comic where Flash and Superman are racing, and I think Superman wins because if he doesn't, some people die or something, and Barry's like,
I don't care.
Yeah. I let you do that. And that should be the way it is because the characters.
Barry's like, it was for charity.
Right.
I let you win because it was for charity, but you're not going to hold a candle to me.
And really, that's the way the nature of that relationship should work. Like, we're interested at the beginning, but at the end, the Flash will always be faster than Superman. And if that's not the case, there has to be a really good story. Like when Wally was, he had lost some of his power and had to overcome all that. I love that. Or, like we were saying just a minute ago, there's a reason he's not smoking Superman. Honestly, I really feel pretty strongly that Flash ought to be able to at least almost lap Superman.
I think he would.
Well, it depends on which Superman. In the 70s, Superman was like God or something. Anyway, so
Superman was obviously next.
Number 4, yeah. And number 3, as best I can understand, is Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, yeah, Professor Zoom, not Hunter Zolomon, Professor Zoom. And this is indicative of the list. This right here shows that the guy doesn't even understand the characters he's writing. In the fact that Zoom was always faster than Barry, and Barry had to be better than Zoom. That was something that has pretty well been established for years. But I guess in the Rebirth or New 52 or whatever universe we're operating in at the moment,
it's still Rebirth, even though Rebirth is done, but like we're in the Rebirth, which is so the Rebirth still Earth. The New 52, sort of.
All right, so in Rebirth weird. Earth, I guess Barry is faster than Eobard Thawne.
But you got to give him credit. He at least got the top 3.
That's true. That's the right characters. They're the right characters. They're just out of place. Anyway, number 2 is Barry, rightfully so. We don't have a complaint about this except the fact that he needs to be third if we're including villains. Otherwise, he's definitely in the right spot as far as
and then of course DCU. Wally's on top, which is where he deserves to be.
Actually,
yeah. So spoiler alert, we've already spoiled our top 3.
Right. But we'll discuss them as we count them down.
But of course it was going to be those 3. Like, right. Who else was it going to be?
And that's only if you count villains. If we take villains out,
and then Wally and Barry are on the top 2.
Right.
By far.
So we're going to count down our 15.
I will say, I appreciate Williamson bringing Wally back to prominence.
Yes, his costume looks great. Thank you, Brett Booth, I believe was who designed that.
And like I loved the previous issue, which was 49, I think it was. And Wally and Barry are in a race. And so you see like 2 classic characters that try to keep up with the Flash, which is Superman and Hal Jordan. And so, of course, Barry can't keep up with Wally. And then Superman tries, and he can't keep up with either one of them.
Right.
And then Hal Jordan tries to slow him down, but it almost kills him.
Right.
And I love that. That was really good. I was very thankful that he got the proper order correct.
Now, just for the record, did you want to do – okay, so we're doing our 15 – what we believe are the 15 fastest DC Universe characters. So feel free to disagree with anything we say down in the comments. We would love to hear from you. But since you mentioned Gio, did you want to do our honorable mentions?
Yeah, we'll do some honorable mentions.
Okay, so before we get into our list, we're going to do honorable mentions. So he mentioned Gio, Green Lantern, Hal Jordan.
Hal Jordan.
Yes.
Not the others.
Well, right, because it was him. But the thing is,
you could probably argue if Kyle Rayner is the White Lantern, there might be a chance he could be powerful enough to be fast enough to catch up with some of these guys. But I mean, he'd be at the bottom.
Right. Well, and here's the thing: in space, without friction and those kinds of things, I bet Hal Jordan could potentially keep up with Barry if he, if they were running moving, just that kind of thing. Like I would have absolutely new suit. Same thing with Superman. If he could find a way to breathe in space, because I think he needs to breathe in space, not just super hold his breath.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very much a product of my own golden age.
And if you take gravity out, like if they're all in space,
right.
Superman would probably be one of the fastest. Hal Jordan would be definitely one of the fastest. Light Ray would be one of the fastest. So you'd have these guys. Now in the comic we're referring to.
If we're on Earth under normal conditions,
or another planet that has similar
conditions, right?
It's going to be this is going to be that list. But we mentioned that Hal Jordan only because he outran Light Ray in the comic.
Right.
Hal Jordan, the Green Lanterns. And I think it was because Light Ray was very tired, and he had been running for a long time with, what's his name, the father? Highfather. He was running with Highfather, trying to protect him from these destroyer things. It's a really cool issue. I forget what issue number it is, but it's a really cool run.
Was that Green Lantern or
Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern?
Oh, nice.
From Rebirth, so really great, one of the best Rebirth series, but and so that's why I include him as an honorable mention. It's because of that issue.
Also, Wonder Woman. We've already said how she's top 3 as far as Justice League goes. We'd order that Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman. Yeah. And so she deserves recognition. She is fast. There's a really cool Justice League issue during the Tower of Babel storyline. They were going to check on a forest fire, and she and Wally were running at high speed to suck the air out of the area so that it would put the fire out. It was really cool, like to know. And she's blessed by the gods, sort of like Captain Marvel, but he's actually accessing the power of the gods, where she just has this gift bestowed upon her that's not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
Like when you plug into the wall, it's not the same thing as a battery pack. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Captain Marvel's plugged into the wall. Wonder Woman's running off of residual.
She's like a half god, so like she's got to be faster than
That's new. That's new though. General. Like her being the daughter of Zeus is new, but you're right.
She's got to be faster.
That than alone should make her faster.
Even if she's not a half god, like she's blessed by the gods. Like,
right.
She's stronger than Cheetah. She should be faster than Cheetah.
Right. So the dude's rationale, she understands running.
Makes sense.
She's physically stronger, so she can pump her legs faster. That totally fits, but how she ended up on his list lower than Cheetah,
top 10?
I don't know. Like, why? Why would she be below Cheetah? Unless they're about to do something huge with Cheetah, and this is the way they're setting that up.
How in the world is she faster than Godspeed? And some of these other flashes. Anyways, what was the other honorable mention?
The kids. So the Tornado Twins and Jay and Iris West. We just kind of lumped them together. So the Tornado Twins are fast, but they couldn't outrun death.
Well, they're also, I think, slower than most of the others.
So they couldn't. Well,
we didn't want like a 19-point list, and so we just dropped it.
That's right. So we shaved our list down a little.
So those are honorable
top 15.
And honestly, like Tornado Twins haven't been in the comics in forever.
That's true, and we don't
Jay
even know
and Iris are kind of mentioned recently, but before that they hadn't been forever. So in a lot of ways they're really
storylines,
really minor characters. So,
yeah. I mean, if you were into the Tornado Twins, you probably could track down all the issues that they're in, because it's literally like a handful or two.
We wanted to include them just because it's the DC universe.
And they're both of those are inclusive. The children of the two fastest characters. Right. So we have to include them as honorable mentions.
If they ever develop them, they could probably become near the top of the list.
Right.
But anyways,
last honorable mention is Excess, who is related to the Tornado Twins somehow. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember. Anyway, she was a super fast character in the Legion of Superheroes. Interesting character that Mark Waid created when he brought the Legion back in after Zero Hour. But they really haven't done a whole lot with her since Legion of Three Earths or something like that. So, with Final Crisis, anyway.
A couple we didn't really mention was the Flash from Metal. Didn't really.
No, I don't even know that character. I don't believe that character exists. So.
I do.
I just go la, 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 when I don't like it.
It was a good issue. It was a really good issue, but I didn't. I mean, it
just like some of that seemed to be hitting on all cylinders, and other parts of it were like,
that was a good.
Can't believe it put that out.
That was that was a good issue though. And then there's a new girl. Forget her. I don't know her name.
She's in purple.
Yeah, she's also in the China.
Yeah, Justice League. And in a relationship, sort of, with Wally too.
Yeah, so don't know anything about her. Super minor character, so we didn't really remember.
Right.
That's what. So honorable mention.
Yeah. Anyways,
I imagine she'd be slower than all the others anyway. So.
Yeah. So we gotta run quick. We're gonna do our top 15. We're gonna start with Jessie quick.
That's right.
Now we did talk about her dad, but his heart wasn't really into the running, so we didn't even want to honorable mention him other than this little spot right here. But Jessie, she was such a central character in the mid to late 90s. Introduced in JSA #1, or I'm sorry, Justice Society of America #1 from 91. It was like a miniseries or something where they reintroduced the Justice Society to modernity, and
she's been a fun character on the Flash TV show.
Oh, see?
Yeah, really great actress. Enjoyed every time she's on there.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I love how she deals with Harrison Wells and all that. So just a lot of fun on that show.
Yeah. Sorry, got a pen poking.
But,
so yeah, she's not the fastest, but she can fly too. That was part of her power set. She was really interesting in the Titan series that Devin Grayson wrote. She and Dick Grayson, Nightwing, they really had an interesting dynamic because there was a little bit of the will they, won't they, and they didn't. There was like a brief kiss, and they're like, okay, now that we've got that out of our system, because they're both professionals, and they're like, let's just move on from the awkwardness of this.
Anyways.
Oh, man. All right.
So number 14.
Sorry. Number 14 is John Fox, the Future Flash. So, relatively minor character, but faster than Cheetah. So if she gets a mention, so does he.
That's going to be Lewis's bare minimum.
Exactly.
Faster than Cheetah, you can make it on our list.
No.
Which is not hard to do.
No, right. Well, I mean, if Green Lantern could keep up with Barry, why would he make the list above Cheetah? I don't understand.
You mean Light Ray?
Whatever.
Anyways,
same difference.
Because Williamson didn't write Green Lantern.
Does he write Wonder Woman?
No.
Oh, well then what is he big up in Cheetah?
So a theory is that it's because she's going to be the villain in the new Wonder Woman movie.
We don't have to inflate her ego for her to be an interesting character. Like, I had to look into the character that had the half mask thing on, Dr. Poison or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just to even find out who that character was. So I don't think we have to have big name villains for us to be intrigued by a Wonder Woman movie. It was so good by itself.
If you know who Wonder Woman is, you kind of know who Cheetah is, because she's
right. She was in the Super Friends.
Forever.
She was in the Justice League cartoon. They've done variations of the character.
Anyways.
So
we'll get off Cheetah.
Yeah. Sorry. But John Fox, Future Flash, he came back in time. He had to have some help with that. I think he had like wristbands or something that allowed him to jump back in time. Wally, counted on him a couple of times to help, and then he went into the 853rd century and became the Flash of that particular Justice League. DC 1 million. That was the storyline, and he became the literally the future Flash. So sort of the Flash at the end of time. So
John Fox did.
John Fox. Yep. And he had a really cool costume. I thought the first one he had sucked, but the ones that preceded were kind of cool looking.
That's number 13.
So no, that was 14.
Right. Number 13.
Oh, it's Wally 2. So
Wally 2.
Wallace, I guess is what he goes with.
That's what we call him, Wally 2. Wally West the second.
Yeah. So, but not the second coming, because that would have been cool if they had just made him black.
So I feel like
I'm sure people would have been upset about that, and I'm okay with him. I just,
I'm okay with him now that the other Wally West is around. We didn't put his father on the list. His father is a villain.
Who's his father?
Is a new Reverse Flash. There's another.
Not worth it.
Anyways,
he's too minor. Honorable mention. We'll probably keep doing this throughout.
Wally West 2 is I think he's been a really good character in the Teen Titans, and they haven't done as much with him in the Flash, which he is overshadowed by Wally and Barry by far, and Bart is going to overshadow him too, because they're big name characters, been around for a long time. And I think that's good. I think they've got a storyline where he's trying to come out of their shadow, and I think that's going to be great for him. So I think there's a lot of potential if they make him his own character rather than just Kid Flash.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting if he kind of goes more of a Dick Grayson way and gives up the mantle and becomes something that tries to be his own hero because he's tired of being.
It'd be interesting if Damian helps him get there too. That would actually make me.
He's teaming up kind of with Damian. So.
Yeah.
I feel like they need to make kind of like Wally West 2, Damian Wayne, and they're doing the same with what's her name, Red Arrow. I forget her name.
Mia?
Maybe. I don't think it's. It's a new girl.
Sorry.
Daughter of Shadow.
Oh.
Anyways,
I don't know.
Half sister of Wally. Anyways, I feel like they're going down more of a dark path, which is perfect. I want to see them being more dark. That'd be really cool. Especially Damian. He needs to be their new Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
and Wally 2 can be the thing that keeps him from going over the brink.
I think once Wally 2 gets his own footing,
identity.
Yeah. Which they've been doing for a little while, which is great.
Yeah, they've been building, including the relationship with the purple chick.
I think that he'll definitely go up on this list, and so maybe in a couple of years, if they do it well, we could do this list again, and he might be much higher. Anyways, all right.
We are more than willing to be called wrong if you can offer good rationale.
Right.
The rationale for things like Cheetah and Junk were not good.
Yeah, a lot of these characters I think are going to be non-mobile, except for going down when new characters come in and get faster.
Right.
And we'll talk more about that. All right, so number 12.
Number 12. This guy, Superman. What else do we need to say? Because we've already talked about him a bit.
He's super fast.
He's super fast.
Because he's Superman.
He's got those super muscles to help him move super fast. In a foot race, he couldn't keep up with Flash, even if he tried. Flying, he might have better success, because that was the premise on the old cartoon show from the 90s. Every so often, Superman had to touch down for it to be like for them to count his actual steps. Otherwise, it wouldn't be considered a race, because he'd be flying. The dynamics of flying and running are different.
Very different.
Which is why Hal Jordan is an honorable mention and not on the list.
Well, it's just fastest. It's not running. It's just fastest.
Right. But whatever. Anyway, Superman, he's super fast. It's part of his deal. He's super, right? So but faster than a speeding bullet used to be the tagline, but that was from the 40s. Obviously, he's much faster than that, but he's not light speed fast. At least on his own.
He might be more closer to sound, but he's nowhere near light speed.
I don't know. I would say I think he can. I don't know, a couple thousand miles an hour. I mean, he's not light speed. You're right. So I guess
closer
relatively he's closer to sound.
Closer to sound than he is light speed.
Maybe Mach 5 or something, which would be what, 10,000 miles an hour or something. It's really fast.
It's really fast. He'd be a blur when he was running.
Yeah, like a red-blue blur.
It's a bird. It's a blur. All right. Anyways, number 11.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
What a cool name. Why did someone not think to use that years ago? That's to me, it's just a really cool name. Like.
Yeah, and you gotta give William some credit for coming up with them. I'm pretty sure he's the one who created him.
Definitely seems like they have an interesting backstory. I have to look.
I don't know much about him. I didn't read those comics, but supposedly he lost a lot of his speed because Wally and Barry siphoned it off. I think that's Wally 2.
That siphoned
Barry and Wally.
Yeah,
2 siphoned them off. So he lost some of his speed, and that was the only way they could stop him. So I think he was originally a lot faster, but now he's slower. So.
Yeah. But just notice, we haven't read a whole lot of them, and we're still willing to give him proper credit because we give credit where credit is due. Yeah. So Williamson, if you created him, way to go, dude. We're intrigued by the character and gonna look further.
He almost made that 10.
Yeah, that's true. He did. He just missed the cut.
Just missed. But again, like you have potential for him to go faster. So
that's true, and we were not being wrong.
If he still had his speed and you hadn't taken that away from him, he'd be much higher on the list.
This is true.
But since he's right now slower, he's lower on the list.
Yeah. So. Top 10.
All right.
Number 10, Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. I love
Dude is tapping into the power of the god of speed, Hermes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You get an automatic top 10 spot when you're like that.
Just as a heads up, we call him Captain Marvel and not Shazam.
Right, that's true. Because some people don't realize there's a difference. So in the 70s, DC shot themselves in the foot by not copyrighting the name Captain Marvel. Marvel jumped on that and introduced Marvel, Captain Marvel, the guy with the negabands, which I hope they're going to bring into the movie. I won't go too far down that road. But anyway, as a result, they cannot use Captain Marvel in their marketing for the character. So that's why his own series was called Shazam, The Power of Shazam, and different things. At one point, DC seemed to be on board with the idea of just calling him Shazam because everybody calls him that anyway. Do now. Is that what they do? Okay, I'm totally cool with that, DC. Let's just stick with that. But for so long, he's been Captain Marvel to me. So
he's Captain Marvel to me.
Yeah. And we're gonna make a video about Captain Marvel and why he is the coolest comic book concept for a character.
That's right.
Because we think a lot of the character.
I love Captain Marvel.
There's so much to be done with that character. But again, just talking about, literally one of his powers is that of the god of speed, Hermes. So
if you're gonna claim that you have the power of the god of speed, then
please be fast.
You've got to be faster than
Cheetah. Faster than Cheetah. Come on.
You got to be faster than most people in the DC universe. And he's got magic, so that can help him go faster.
Faster than Superman.
Yeah, definitely faster than Superman. We put him over Godspeed because honestly we don't know as much about Godspeed.
Right.
But
notice he is top 15, so there's something to the character. And then of course we just love Captain Marvel. We think he's Captain Marvel, really awesome.
That's awesome. He's definitely faster than Superman.
So number 9 then is Light Ray. Light Ray.
Why was he not on the original
How is
list?
he not on the list? How is he not? He's the freaking new god.
He was the
speed,
first one.
Right?
I was like Bart Allen, and I was like Light Ray. Right. Where is Light Ray? Because he's the fastest new guy.
Right.
I don't know what this guy's thinking.
At one point, he was in the Justice League, so I like him.
I don't know what this guy's thinking. Light Ray is, I think, a very interesting character. I don't know as much about him, but I know he's like the fastest new guy, and
he's a nice counterbalance to Orion. Like Orion's always like, and Light Ray's like, hey, how's it going? I'm a normal guy, and I want to hang out with you. But he usually talks really fast like this. He's
I'm super out guy. Let's have a good day.
I'm also the god of optimism.
Top of the morning to you. No, I think he's a fun character. He gets he wears his emotions on his sleeves, but
yeah,
you see some of that in the Mr. Miracle series, which is fun. Anyways,
New Gods are underrated characters.
Yeah,
they ought to do more with them. So
yeah,
we won't. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say here, right?
They've done a lot with Darkseid, but he's really fast, and
yeah, so
there's no way that most of the people on their list could keep up with Light Ray. He's definitely top 10 fastest.
Like Wonder Woman or Cheetah. So number 8, the original Flash, Jay Garrick.
That's right. I love Jay Garrick. He's such
an interesting character. Serves well in that mentor role that DC could really stand to have. We don't have to push our old people off to nursing homes. DC, you can put them on display and point to their awesomeness even at the age of 70 or whatever.
Now, what we've done with Jay Garrick is we put him in his prime because he's kind of done as a speedster. So, like right now, technically, he'd probably be slower than most of these guys. He wouldn't make the top 10, I don't think, if you took his speed now.
Right.
But
or the fact that he's not even in the books right now, right?
Right, basically. He's there. We just hadn't really found him.
Yeah. No,
but we kind of put him in his prime because he's kind of like an older hero that's not as active now.
Right.
We didn't do that with Godspeed because he is active.
Right.
We didn't do that with some of the others because they are active. But
I mean, he was the first, so proper due, Yeah. Respect to.
And so you take him in his prime, he could outrun several other people on the list. So
right, and he, like I said, he mentored.
That's the only reason we put him this high. And you're like, oh, but he's much slower, and
he mentored Barry in some ways, and he mentored Wally in some ways.
He mentored the fastest man alive.
Right. So, whatever your thoughts on that, leave it in comments below. But recognize that respect due.
So we'd agree with you if we went with like right now in the comics, he's probably slower. But we just wanted to explain why we were treating him a little different because he's a golden age hero.
He's the original.
And we have a special connection with Jay Garrick. I love Jay Garrick. He's such a great character.
DC, bring the Justice Society back, please. And I don't need a bunch of new heroes necessarily, but bring the originals back and give them the respect they do. The JSA series from the late 90s and the 2000s was some good comics. Jeff Johns, you know that because you wrote some of them. So don't write them off into the sunset just yet. So,
anyways.
Number 7, surprisingly, Max Mercury.
That was another. I was like, "Where's Max Mercury on this list?"
How is he not on this list? And he's not as familiar with the character as I am, but he's the Zen master of speed. Like that's the nickname they gave him, and that's in canon. Like I have comics that say that over and over again. So don't talk to me about some cheetah being in canon when Max Mercury isn't even on your list.
If you leave Light Ray, Jay Garrick, and Max Mercury and Bart Allen off of your list, you didn't do a good list.
Right. Your list is subject to bias. I mean, honestly, I feel like the list likely was prompted more by coming stories than actual fact.
Yeah.
And in our comic book thinking, facts trump feelings or desire to.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
That's right. Facts don't care about feelings. And I mean, yeah. So Max Mercury, he like so much of what the speedsters knew about the Speed Force, Max Mercury told them. He operated in the background quietly and silently for so long.
Was he doing the Mark Waid?
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Waid reintroduced him. It was old. It was old Charlton character, I believe, and his name was Quicksilver in that, which predates Marvel's Quicksilver. But he didn't he just made mention to it and he moved on. They
didn't copyright it, and then.
Well, they couldn't have. It was a different company. The name Quicksilver and that particular character are public domain. So you could take and write your own stories about that particular Quicksilver. It would just have to be very distinct from Marvel's Quicksilver which would have to be marketed as Marvel's Quicksilver.
Which I guess is why
he went with
and Marvel were both able to have Quicksilver.
Say that again?
So, which would be why Fox and Marvel were both able to have a Quicksilver in the movies.
Right. Well, actually, the only way they could do that is if the Avengers version of Quicksilver was not a mutant.
Well, sure.
Right. That was that.
So, anyways.
Because technically they're the same character.
So Max Mercury.
Right. Just a really cool character. Very interesting. He mentored Bart Allen, who's on our list further up, and just really enjoyed reading the Impulse series with him. I'll have to lend you some of those comics. They're really good. Super funny. All right.
So number 5.
Number 6. Number 6, because he doesn't know how to count. No. Savitar.
Sorry, I was looking up there. I forgot we added one.
Oh, yeah. No, you're good. So Savitar. Yeah, we jammed Savitar in there.
We almost forgot about him.
Yeah. Well, which is weird, right? Because that's a Mark Waid creation. So it's kind of funny I almost forgot. Dead Heat is the name of the trade if you're wanting to read really good stuff by him. But he wanted to enter the Speed Force. So he went around stealing speed from other speedsters and killing them. And then, of course, he's on the show, but I can't keep up with that. I have too much going on. But, just an interesting villain that really gave, I'm going to be punny here, but he really gave Wally a run for his money. I'm a dad. I get to make dad jokes. Anyway, no, but seriously, just a cool bad guy for the Flash. There's a vacuum in Wally's world for a Professor Zoom Reverse Flash kind of character, and Savitar fits that niche quite well.
So Savitar.
To beat him, Wally literally gave him what he wanted. Enough speed to enter the Speed Force. But he was literally just like a step or two off from that. So nothing wrong with that. Keeping him on there. Number 5. Top 5. I don't know how to play the drums. He might, so he should do a drum roll. But anyway, coming in at number 5 is Black Flash / Black Racer. Now on their list, they had the Black Racer at number 5 and Superman ahead of him because Superman outran death by coming back alive. We're not buying into all that. But the Black...
There was no running involved in him coming back.
That's true. He just got up and walked away. The Black Flash, though, was the Speed Force personification of death. And I don't know. You can't outrun death.
So he chases a lot of the speedsters.
Literally, yeah. When Barry came back, I think both the Black Flash and Black Racer were chasing him down. As though he had to die. Oh, if only that were true.
Yeah, the two are weird. They're separate characters.
But they essentially feel the same role.
The same character.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they.
Well, Black Racer is a Jack Kirby creation.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with him. And the rationale for him being on the list is that he is death, and therefore.
He catches up to everybody.
Right, he catches everybody eventually. But the Black Flash is
eventually the people who are above him faster than him will slow down and he'll be able to catch them too.
Right, and part of the thing is they've actually outrun him already. So Wally outran the Black Flash. Barry outran the Black Racer. Bart came back in the Legion of 3 World Series that happened pre-New 52. And then Thawne, he's beaten death a couple times, so that's our rationale. So we just gave you our top 5, but we're gonna go slowly through them so that you keep up. So number 4 is Bart Allen.
So this was the first one. As soon as I saw this list, I was like, "Where is Bart Allen?
Yeah, where is Impulse? Where's Kid Flash?
The fourth Flash."
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard the list and he said Kid Flash, I thought of Bart Allen, and I'm like, "Oh no, that's Wally too."
Yeah.
And how can you make this list and not have Barry's grandchild on it? I don't get it.
I mean, Impulse has been in the comics forever, and he became the Flash. He was the fourth Flash.
Right. I mean, that's something Wally 2 will never do, because he doesn't need to.
Right.
And Bart only did it because DC thought it would sell.
I wouldn't be opposed to them killing off Barry and letting Wally 2 become the new Flash.
All right, DC.
I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
I'm not opposed, as long as Barry dies like he did in Crisis, where it actually matters. And then he needs to stay dead, because I'm tired of you guys.
Or if Barry retires and settles down with Iris, that'd be fine too. I could see him doing that.
He's one of the few who might actually do that. But, Batman would never do that, which even if he'd gotten married to Catwoman, so that's a stupid rationale for them not getting married.
Oh, we're not gonna touch that issue.
There's more good reasons why they shouldn't have got married than just the fact that she's a villain and he'd have been happy about marriage.
Anyways.
Because we could have killed her, right?
Okay. The Flashes, fastest people.
Sorry.
All right. So Bart Allen, yeah. So I would argue that one, he was the Flash, and so in that I felt like he was faster than anybody else on this list, other than the people who are higher than him.
Right.
But I feel like because he hasn't had enough time to really be developed, he has potential to be the fastest.
Right.
So right now, of course, we have Wally as the fastest. So we'd agree with Williamson on that, and because it's been canon for a long time.
Right.
But Bart hasn't had time to really be developed as an adult.
That's right.
And
when he has been an adult, he's been super fast.
Yeah.
The few times like when they flash forward and stuff.
He's had he has the benefit of coming after Barry, having a grandfather be Barry, and then have Wally coming after Wally, and so
he had Barry's genetics, Wally's mentorship, Jay's mentorship, Max's mentorship. So
Bart Allen, I feel like, could be the fastest Flash to ever come.
Right. Yes, he has the potential.
But they haven't done it yet.
Right.
So get on that, DC. Like, you're bringing him back now.
Are they bringing him back?
I don't know.
All right, number 3 is Barry Allen.
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen, the man who has worn the mantle
the
longest.
Well, Jay Garrick, maybe.
No, because he went on hiatus. So he was it for a couple of years, and then 15 years later or so, Barry came along, and he wore it for, 30 years?
It's a long time. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Barry's got the longest with the consistent. Right. He's the most well known.
A lot of people know Flash and didn't realize it was Wally. They thought it was Barry.
Yeah.
Especially in the Justice League cartoon.
But the confusing thing is, from the 90s TV show, the character had some Wally traits, and then the Justice League was Wally, and then this new show, the Barry Allen character has some Wally traits as well.
And then they have Wally West too as the
Kid Flash.
The Kid Flash on the show. So he's kind of emergence of the two.
Right. The best of both worlds or whatever. So. Yeah, but Barry, unquestionably, lightning quick, and
he was the fastest man alive for a long time.
Yeah, and he was the sole owner of the title
until now.
Yeah, well, 20 years
until Wally, became Flash.
25 years ago, I guess. Anyway, so.
But he's beaten out by number 2.
Professor Zoom, a.k.a. Reverse Flash, a.k.a. Eobard Thawne. I'm going to get his name right this time because I'm tired of Thorn.
Eobard Thawne.
I was looking at a list we made over here on this board behind the computer. So, anyway, Wally, in canon, when he's fighting Zoom at some point in an old comic that I'm trying not to spoil, he's fighting him, and he openly acknowledges, Barry acknowledged that Zoom was faster than him. Yeah. So if Barry told Wally that Zoom was faster than him, at no point ever again, unless it's been clearly established that Barry's faster than him, do we need to act like he's not.
All right.
It's kind of like the Abomination in Marvel Comics. He's physically stronger than the Hulk, until the Hulk gets madder. Like at a base level, he's strong. He's physically stronger than the Hulk. But then the Hulk gets mad and he gets stronger. The Madder Hulk gets the. So it's kind of like that. So Barry has to really work to beat Zoom because Zoom is faster. Reverse Flash. What is your preferred designation for this character? Because I know you you for some reason think of Hunter Zolomon as Zoom.
Right.
So
TV show has a lot to do with that.
Okay, so what do you think the best designation would be for
Reverse Flash?
Okay, Reverse Flash. Okay, so Reverse Flash, one of the things he needs to be faster just to make it interesting, because then Barry has to do more than just outrun him, right? He has to outthink him and outplan him and outstrategize him and that sort of thing to beat him. That's why I think it makes sense that he's faster.
And Zoom see now I Reverse Flash is from the future. Thawne is from the future.
Right.
So he has the benefit of learning from Barry from the future, with all the future technology that comes around, and
that's actually how he gets his powers.
And philosophy of the Speed Force itself, because he is a professor of that, which is why he's Professor Zoom, right?
Not originally, because the Speed Force in reality only came about 26 years ago.
Well, sure. So,
but yeah, I mean
the basic idea, it's been changed,
Right. So I'm not upset about that. I'm just saying
So that's why he called Professor Zoom and Reverse Flash.
He was just a scientist when he started.
So. There you go, scientist of the Speed Force.
No, the Speed Force wasn't around then.
Well, no, it wasn't, but it was eventually.
That's true.
Anyways. So it makes sense for him to be faster. He was born 500 years after and idolized him.
That's right, absolutely.
And then mastered the Speed Force and came back in time.
That's right. Yeah.
According to current canon.
I'm good with that.
There we go. So
I'm good with that.
I'll let Lewis explain why we didn't put Hunter Zolomon on.
Okay, so as best I can understand it, his power is not actual speed. It's being able to teleport. Now, it gives the appearance of speed while not actually being speed.
I don't know as much about Hunter Zolomon.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about him.
He had speed in the
It was Jeff Johns. I don't care. Sorry. I pretty much stopped reading Flash after Wade left. I read a couple issues after. There was a cool flashback to Jay Garrick's honeymoon, where he and the Justice Society guys are going off, and somehow they're all in the same area and causing him to work instead of enjoy his honeymoon, and it's really funny.
So, all right, number one,
Wally
West, of course. Who else? Fastest man alive. He starts off, of course, slower than Barry gets his power in the same way that Barry gets his.
Right. He actually kept track with Barry for a while as a 10-year-old, but then the power started to affect his, as he was growing and developing into maturity, the Speed Force started to hurt. And so he had to limit his use of it. And so it wasn't until the crisis when Barry died and Wally got hit with some energy that fixed that problem so that he would develop normally after that. And then in the comics, his top speed at that point was 700 miles an hour. And he keeps going to these different doctors and things to see why that is, why he can't run faster. And they started to theorize the idea that it was psychological in nature, that he really didn't want to run any faster because he might eclipse Barry. And ironically, it was he breaks that barrier in an effort to beat a big time villain. That's my alarm. A big time villain, and in so doing, he overcomes that barrier, not to being as fast as Barry, or faster than Barry, but at least as fast as Barry, or to break. So like at one point he got experimented on, and he lost his powers due to some alien bomb in the invasion storyline. He got his powers came back, but they came back where he could control them, and he picked up speed. And then eventually he overcame the psychological barriers that would keep him from being as fast as Barry. And then Mark Waid introduced the Speed Force. He tapped into Johnny Quick's formula that allows Johnny Quick and Jesse Quick to run fast. And he moved so fast that he literally was like he had stopped time. Like he's running around and nobody's moving because he's running so fast and he doesn't know how to control it. And then he literally taps into the Speed Force during the Terminal Velocity storyline.
I think that they've boosted Barry since then.
Sure.
Because he couldn't go that fast before.
Right.
But now he can, but he's still slower than Wally.
Right, and it seems like they've lowered Wally some because in the comics he could get into the Speed Force and travel through time, but it was imprecise. Wally or Barry, I saw, is still using the treadmill, so there may be something to that. But I'm glad that they declared Wally the fastest because I love me some Wally West. My Flash is better than your Flash.
So that's our list. Let us know what you think. If you watched it all the way through, thank you for watching. But our list again, it was Jesse Quick,
John Fox, Wally 2, Superman, Godspeed, Captain Marvel, Light Ray, Jay Garrick, Max Mercury, Savitar, number 5.
Black Flash, and then Bart Allen, Barry Allen, Don, and Wally. So
I didn't want to do the whole list. It's his video, so I'm trying to let you.
He's looking at the list, and I can't barely read his handwriting.
But you got it right there on the wall.
Yeah, I know. I could have looked up there. But anyways, so that's our list. Let us know what you think. We're not trying to be like rude or anything to Williamson. He's done a great job.
Oh, we've enjoyed his comics. So good stuff.
And the Flash and.
But I'm being rude to Cheetah. She don't deserve to be on the list.
But we had to come out against this because it doesn't make any sense.
20.
It doesn't make sense.
Top 20.
And you know we needed to set the record straight of who the real fastest people in the DC universe are. So maybe
if you disagree, DC, get at us.
Maybe he's like, these are the fastest people that I like. I mean.
Right. I wouldn't care about that list. Like
whatever, that's an interesting list, but we'd be like,
you're still wrong.
You're still wrong about Cheetah and Wonder Woman. So, anyways, so that's our list. That's what we thought.
And somehow we've managed to finish under an hour.
That's right.
Let us know. You should be proud of us.
Let us know what you think, and we will catch you next time. Peace.